Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is an exciting weekend. A momentous occasion.
Momentous.
I know I said
Not
that
even momentous, but momentous.
I kind of said it wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's a new way of saying it.
Thanks. The momentous occasion is that it is Con 2019, or it was this past weekend, and that's pretty cool. We like that, and we like comics. Here on Comics Covered, for the week of July 17, 2019, episode AD3. And I want to make sure everyone knows that I'm saying 80, like AT3.
What did you think that they were?
AD3.
Oh, okay.
I did this whole thing where I started making a joke based on it being AD. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It's really fun. Nonetheless, here on Comics Covered, other than random stupid things, we talk about comic books and the world around them, the comics industry, the movies, the TV, the games. We'll talk some spoilers, and we'll warn you about them. I'm Jack. I'm still pretty new to comics, but not that new anymore, really. I've kind of come a long way. But I'm with someone who may be a little newer than me, than I, but maybe not so much either. Who knows? Who are you?
I am Samantha, and I'm making my way up there to get to know more comics.
To Comic Land.
To Comic Land.
To Comics
I'm on
Nirvana.
my way. I'm on my way there.
That's good. I'm really glad you are.
Going at an okay pace.
Yeah, it's pretty...
school gets in the way, but I'm going at a pace I can manage.
You're there.
I'm there.
So, Samantha,
yeah.
Again, as we mentioned before, it's difficult for us to do the How Was Your Week section considering we live together.
Right.
So, we're just going to move on and talk a little bit about Comic-Con, which was this past weekend. Comic-Con in San Diego, 2019. Did you know, we reported on this a little bit earlier, Comic-Con was actually attempted to be trademarked. I'm not sure if they succeeded by San Diego Comic-Con.
I know. Yeah.
So, technically, no one else can refer to their comics convention as a Comic-Con anymore.
But they do. But they say, like, Long Beach Comic-Con, or, like, they'll say the name of the city before.
They can't just say it's Comic-Con.
It's Comic-Con. Yeah.
It's lame. Too bad. But, nonetheless, it's a really exciting time for comics fans all over the world. And we get a lot of announcements. I don't think I've shown you many announcements because I thought I'd just tell you about them here and see what you thought. Some of the most exciting things that I found, at least. We had a lot of things from Marvel Studios this year. Them wrapping up their Infinity Saga, which was how they referred to like their films all up until now.
Oh, okay.
So like they were treating this stuff as like a season finale.
Okay.
So now we're into the next season of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And do they have a name for it?
I mean, I think they're just going with the whole Phase 4. And now it's, you know what I mean? I don't think they have a name because we don't know what it's about yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay,
we wouldn't have
that's
known
fair.
the words Infinity Saga until the first, I don't even know when. When did we learn about Infinity things? And I don't know. It's off track.
Yeah.
So they just had some cool stuff that they revealed. Like, in order, the things that they have is they're going to go through with this Black Widow movie, which they've been filming for the last 30 days.
I thought you were about to say for the last 30 years.
For the last 30 years. Ever since...
this poor woman is...
Scarlett Johansson has been a baby.
That's so sad.
Well, actually, I don't know how old she is.
She's worked so hard.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. It's like that movie Boyhood, but with Black Widow.
Yeah, she better do a good job if it's 30 years in the making,
I mean...
You work your whole life for one character. It's gotta be good.
It's amazing to me that they haven't told us anything about it in the last 30 years. Amazing, really.
Amazing.
So, that's going to be fun. They, aren't going with the whole rated R thing, which was a rumor for a little bit.
Oh.
Well, it makes sense. It's
It
Disney.
does make sense, yeah.
We have to remember that all these Marvel movies are Disney movies.
Sadly, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we get this because of Disney.
True.
Not necessarily
That's
sad.
True. No, it's just different.
And actually, from this list, you'll see that they're going in very different directions from where they have been.
Yeah.
For example, the next movie that they have on the slate would be The Eternals, which is something I've never heard about. And I don't think you have.
I've never heard of that.
Well, The Eternals has, a very good cast associated with it, at least. And who knew anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy before that came out?
Yeah, true.
So in that vein, they are having really great people, including like Angelina Jolie is in this movie, Salma Hayek, who I haven't seen anything recently. Mm-hmm. Also, your favorite actor in the world, Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah. All right.
What was your experience with Kumail Nanjiani?
Well,
Short and sweet.
When I used to work a booth at Comic-Con, I had a video game idea.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun idea I had. And aside from that, Kumail Nanjiani was my new favorite comic.
Comic?
Not like comedian.
Comedian. I guess
comic.
that is kind of...
You do say comic, but...
You do.
I know. In this world, it's like, he's a comic?
He's a humanized
he's
comic.
A what?
My
How
God.
many pages is he?
He's a monster. He's an 80-page giant.
He's a miniseries. But, yeah, so I saw him at the con, and in my idea for this video game, one of the characters was, in my mind, based off of him. And the way he talks, his mannerisms, just his humor. And so I saw him and I thought, like, alright, I'm just gonna tell him about it because he'll probably think it's funny and interesting. So I let him know about it. Yeah, he pretty much dismissed me.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, alright, well, good luck with that. And walked away. I was so crushed. But, you know, that's why people say, like, you don't want to meet the, like, comedians and actors that you really like because you probably will be disappointed.
Well, yeah, he was probably a very busy fella, too, but he could have given you 2 seconds,
He could have been like, oh, that's funny, or cool. You know, just anything positive would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're hurting still to this day.
I am still hurting. Whenever I see him get a part in anything, I'm like, like a dog growling, like a little snarl.
We wish only the best for Kumail Nanjiani.
We do.
We're very excited for this movie nonetheless.
Yes.
You never know. He could be your favorite person after his performance in this movie.
Probably not, but you know, that's okay.
It could be a tearjerker. Nonetheless, really exciting. Never heard of them. The Eternals, what I'm talking about. In fact, Kevin Feige. Do you know who Kevin Feige is, Samantha?
No. Sorry, the last name made me laugh a little.
Feige. F-E-I-G-E.
I like it.
So Kevin Feige is basically the reason why the Marvel Cinematic Universe has a look at it. Like, it has a big vision. And that's his vision, basically.
That's cool.
He was the producer that's behind, like, running the MCU.
Okay, so we like Feige.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic man.
Fantastic Feige.
Yeah, Fantastic Feige.
That
there you
should
go.
be his name.
That's right there. Well, he was there today whenever you're hearing this. This weekend at Comic-Con at this Marvel Studios thing because, you know, he's the big man.
Right.
And he said that the Eternals is going to focus on a group of ancient, everlasting beings, and the film will span eons in their lives.
Ooh.
So it's literally, like, you know, we've had regular movies where they span, you know, a week, you know, maybe a month at most.
But never eons.
This film is going to be, like, starting in some, like, dawn of time era and going to, like, the far-flung future.
That's really funny.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, who makes movies like that?
He does.
It's great.
Feige does.
He puts the money behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. The next movie they had there, which was February 2021, was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Ooh.
Shang-Chi is this dude, from what I gather, I haven't read anything with Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But from what I gather, he is a kung fu master, and he beats people up. Like, you know, he's a good guy.
Okay.
He's a good guy. That was simplistic of me to say.
Alright.
But one cool thing about this is that the Ten Rings first were featured in the Iron Man films. They were the people that kidnapped him in the first movie. And they had a fake Mandarin. This really, really, like, famous character from the Iron Man's past in the comics. The Mandarin. He was in Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Like,
as, like, 10 rings and everything. And super, like, you know, intimidating and everything. But it turned out that it was a fake character in that movie. So this movie, Shang-Chi, is supposedly going to have the real Mandarin.
Ooh.
So if he turns out to be an orange, I think I'll be disappointed. What if he's just an orange? He's the Mandarin.
He's just an evil orange.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I mean, I think I would really watch. I'd probably rewatch it, and I think I mentioned this last time. I don't like rewatching movies.
Yeah, you don't.
But I would rewatch something that, you know, had a Mandarin as an evil character in it. I definitely would.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Let's do that. Let's make a movie with a Mandarin.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We're gonna do it. It'll probably end up being that stupid, annoying orange. You know that YouTube video?
I do, but ours is gonna be more like a sleuth.
A sleuth?
A sleuth.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, getting back to the point. I'm saying nonetheless, by the way, instead of in any case.
Oh.
I used to say in any case.
I know. That's your new thing?
I've been saying nonetheless. I think because I got a little...
annoyed with yourself?
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to be a little easier on myself, but that's okay.
Just saying the truth.
Another thing that they announced was Blade. I never saw the Blade movies with Wesley Snipes. Did you ever?
No.
Well, they're apparently a big deal, and they're pretty cool. And this dude that's already played a character in Luke Cage season 1 is going to be in this movie.
Cool.
So yeah, as Blade, that's who he's going to be. So that's exciting. I don't really know much about that. And then they also announced a Thor movie, Thor 4. It's called Love and Thunder.
That sounds like a porno. I'm sorry.
It does.
It sounds like a porno.
It very much does.
I'm expecting lots of action.
Oh, okay.
Very action-based film, which I guess it will be.
Yeah.
Not the kind of action I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Samantha's creepily widening her eyes right now. I was
actually narrowing my eyes.
You widen them too. Yeah, like that. But it should be interesting. Taika Waititi is again directing and helping to write. One thing that he revealed was Natalie Portman, who left the MCU universe. MC universe is redundant. Natalie Portman, who left Thor 2 unhappy with her place in the universe, is coming back to this movie.
Really?
And she is going to play, like Jane Foster is in the comics, a version of Thor.
It's because it's a porno now.
Did you know that Jane Foster is Thor?
What?
In the comics, at some point, Jane Foster becomes Thor.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant she just is, like, Thor reveals that he's a woman.
I mean, Thor, when Jane Foster is Thor, is a woman.
Yeah. No, that's different than what I thought you were saying.
I mean, it reads like that.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Like,
okay.
I don't know, I'm always really confused why she just goes by Thor.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
She has the power of Thor. I don't know. The cool thing here is that Natalie Portman is reprising her role after being very disillusioned with the Marvel Studios.
Okay, cool.
So, it's very cool. So that's exciting.
One
other exciting thing, I was thinking that Jane Foster, since this Jane Foster that they had in this universe was, a little more damsel-y.
Yes.
And the reason why, Natalie Portman left, I'm thinking that it might be a Jane Foster from a different universe.
Oh.
Because they also announced this movie, Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh.
So they're going to introduce the Marvel Multiverse, and the director said, who's returning from the first Doctor Strange movie, said he wants this movie to be the first scary MCU film.
That's so exciting.
Still going to be PG-13, right. But, I mean, with more of a horror focus, I feel like that's a really interesting direction they have gone in.
And that's exciting.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of At the Mountains of Madness.
Go Waititi.
Well, that's
his last name, right?
That's not him.
Oh, never mind.
That's the Thor guy.
Okay, he's still
This is Scott Derrickson.
Okay. Not as fun of a last name, but he's still great.
He's the son of Derek.
Son of Derek.
On top of all that, they announced a bunch of Disney Plus shows. I want to move on from this, though, because I feel like I'm just listing things that they might have already known about. I wanted to hear about what you think in general about that list of movies, though. Is that an exciting prospect for you?
I think it's very exciting, because a lot of it is new stuff that I've never seen. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited to learn about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the horror-esque.
Yeah. It should be really, really interesting.
Yeah, it just seems all new and exciting.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
And they had a bunch of Disney Plus shows that they announced as well. Some that they just gave details on that they've already announced. Mm-hmm. Really, really cool stuff. Look that up, though, because I'm not going to list it all here. Because, you know what? No, just not going to do it. Samantha, let's talk about some other news.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have music, but I'm going to do it soon. I'll learn how to do it. I promise. Earlier this week, Alan Moore announced that he's officially retiring from writing comics.
Yeah.
What has been your experience of Alan Moore? Your, desire to read him, not to not read him?
I think he's a genius.
Yeah?
Love his stuff.
What do you like most about his stuff as opposed to some other stuff? I don't know what you're saying. It's okay.
Did he write V?
He wrote V for Vendetta, yes. Samantha was trying to put her hands together in a form of a V.
But, Jack can never read lips, and he can never take cues.
I can't do it.
An ape.
Well, this isn't a visual medium, so how do you know I'm just not very good at speaking and I can't see a damn thing? No, it's not that great. So tell me about Alan Moore.
Yeah. No, I just, Everything. V for Vendetta. What else have I read by him?
Okay, no. What do you like about his writing style?
Well, I know, but I wanted to list what I know of him
V for Vendetta, Watchmen, Swamp Thing. Those are your main things.
Right. So those are the things that I've read by him. He's got this very, like, poetic way of writing where you just feel like, I don't know, like you're taken back in time. And it's just so eloquent and powerful and yeah.
Is there anything about like the subject matter that you like in his books? Because I feel like a lot of people say he is overly
dark,
cynical and dark all the time.
But see, I love that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people are scared to do it because they're like, I don't want to make people uncomfortable and I want to sell my stuff, so I'm going to make it all happy and actiony. And it's like, but no, he tells like the dark side of life, and I think it's cool and awesome that he's not scared to do that. And another thing I really want to read from him is Lost Girls.
Oh yeah,
which looks fantastic.
Which he describes himself as pornography.
Yes, but it's like 3 Disney princesses. I think.
Couldn't tell you.
And they're like coming of age sexually.
Yes.
But knowing Alan Moore, it's gonna be pretty cool.
Okay, I mean, I'll get it for your birthday, maybe. Well, that's really it's sad, but he's very, very old. He's done a lot of great work.
Yeah, and it's time. I mean, he's like, it's not like someone who's written one thing and like, I'm done. No, he's like given his due. Like, he's paid his dues. He's done so much and so many amazing, iconic things. And he's a legend. I feel like
exactly
someone you can call a legend.
He'll probably honestly come back and do something. I feel like
didn't you say he was thinking of doing something with TV or movies?
Yeah, he has some projects in film and TV, and he's going to keep doing those apparently.
Okay.
So that's, exciting news, crazy. One other thing that happened this week is that in the books this week, I don't know if you came across this at all, but specifically in Uncanny X-Men, John Hickman wrote a page about sort of why he feels, really tied to his new X-Men properties. Okay. And it was like this open letter to every single reader. And I just wanted to talk about it because I thought it was really, really... It really made me feel good about him, like, putting his heart into this. It sounds like he really wanted to tell this story and revitalize the X-Men. And coming from someone who's, like, never read an X-Men title that... the main X-Men title. I've never read it. I'm just so, like, excited to share in that enthusiasm and to, like, experience it from Jonathan Hickman because he's done some of the best stuff, I think. I think he has already done classic work. Apparently he's only been writing comics for 10 years.
Wow.
I mean, he looks like a younger guy, but I didn't know that at all. So it's just amazing to me how he can build such like amazingly intricate stories all the time. Like, what is your experience like of, I don't know.
Well, for him, I feel like it's not only just stories. It's like he creates worlds. Like, worlds. Like, it's just everything he does feels so vast, and it's like it's its own thing, separate from our world, and just feels like you're entering a different world that makes sense. And it's not like, sometimes people are like, oh, this doesn't make sense. It's so cool. Like, I just feel very... like it's so new, but I don't know, you go into these worlds and you just really understand the characters and understand what's happening, but yet it's just this crazy awesome thing.
I mean, you're someone who I would say probably has had zero to very little exposure to X-Men before.
Oh yeah.
Would you say that like having him on this like excites you about that?
Yeah, because honestly I wouldn't read it if it wasn't someone like him.
Yeah.
Or someone that I knew well of the writers that I read. But, like, with him, I just feel like he's gonna really be awesome with this.
Do you have any inherent, like, desire to read anything about the X-Men usually?
No, but since this is coming out, it kind of has sparked an interest in me. Okay. To be like, I kind of want to know about the history of it now. Yeah. And especially, what did we just read last week? X-Force?
We read Ecstatic.
Ecstatic, yes.
Very weird section of the X-Men.
Yeah, but that also kind of sparked my interest, like, into that world.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm really excited to hear your review of it when we start talking about it. It's the next, the first issue of those series is coming out next week.
Yeah, and what have you started reading? Uncanny X-Men?
On my downtime, not my weekly comics, I've been reading the old like Uncanny X-Men from the 60s. That was like their debut.
And what would you say about the art? How was the art in those?
So we actually talked about this a little bit. It was my first exposure to Jack Kirby and Stan Lee working together, and I asked Doug actually earlier on the show like why Jack Kirby has such a special like thing about him. I also asked our local comic book shop guy behind the counter. They both said the same thing. Like Jack Kirby compared to other people at the time had such a dynamic way of showing, action in scenes, of showing story throughout scenes, and really like putting each line in exactly where it needs to be. And I think the point gets really driven home when you read other stuff from that time. Like I've gotten to the point now in Uncanny X-Men, the old stuff, where Jack Kirby left at about issue 14 or 15 or so. Yeah. And I have a different person. And you can tell the difference. Absolutely.
In a negative or positive way?
It's just a little bit worse. Like it looks similar, but it's just not, it's not the same. It's not Jack Kirby. Yeah. So that was really, really cool. And I think that was a really, really good way to experience both those writers, those creators, Yeah. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm really excited for X-Men. It should be really, really cool to read some new X-Men stuff that's, right in the mix of things in the Marvel Universe. I wonder if it'll, like, cross over at any point in the future soon. I don't know. Other than that, some other book reveals that I think are a little more exciting. You're probably more excited about those. Oh, sorry. One thing. What? TV. Doom Patrol was announced to have a second season.
Yay! Wait, why are you looking like that? You don't
No. I'm really excited.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Okay, yes. That's very exciting because, I didn't think I was going to like it. Yeah. And I think we were a little apprehensive after the first one. We're like, this is okay, but we'll see. Yeah. But it was great. We loved it.
It was fantastic. And then Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch are doing a series called The Batman's Grave, which is going to be 12 issues. Warren Ellis is a fantastic writer. I'm really, really excited to have him on there. And then the last really cool thing from DC is Tom King, Mitch Gerads, and Doc Shaner, who's a great artist, are revitalizing the Strange Adventures series. So that was a series, I guess, that was a thing in the 50s.
Oh, that's so cool.
That featured, it was an anthology series with a bunch of sci-fi stories. And it grew into sort of featuring a lot of popular DC characters, like I heard Deadman, or who else? Adam Strange apparently was a part of this series. But they would just be like anthology stories, sci-fi stories. And I guess they're bringing it back for a 12-issue maxi series where they'll, I think, build a single story around something. I don't know, but it should be really cool. Sci-fi from Tom King, Mitch Gerads. I don't know what Doc Shaner's hand will be. Maybe that was announced. I'm not sure, though. He's another artist. But that's really, really cool.
Very exciting.
With all that said, pretty fucking cool weekend. Yeah. And I'm excited to talk about some books that we had on Wednesday. You want to do that?
Sure. Let's see. We had...
Well, I just wanted to take a quick mention that this is no longer the horniest section of the show because I can't put the horns in.
I mean, you might be able to if you learn how to do it.
I could do it.
Yeah, we'll make it even more horny.
It'll be great.
Yeah, the horniest.
So, thank you. Sorry, I talked over you just now.
No, it's okay.
That was mean of me.
It was so mean.
Samantha, what do we have this week?
This week, we had Assassination number 5, which was the end of the series. Yes. We had Ghost Tree number 4, which was the end of that series. Mm-hmm. And we also had Little Bird number 5, the end of that series.
Oh my gosh.
We ended 3.
You know what, though? We kind of started 3 series last week, so I think it's kind of balancing out.
Yeah, it evens it out. We had Daredevil number 8, Gideon Falls number 15, Immortal Hulk number 21, Invaders number 7, Justice League number 28, Silver Surfer Black number 2, Spider-Man number 5.
Oh yeah, it's Spider-Man Life Story.
I
forgot that part.
Okay, Life Story number 5.
And then I had Alone, Black Science number 41, which you'll get to. Mm-hmm. And I also got the, speaking of X-Men, giant-sized X-Men number 1 reprint, which I don't know if you knew this. This was like a special issue that they put out when they wanted to sort of revamp the X-Men in like, I think this was 80s?
Oh, that's cool.
Or 70s? Mid-70s? Don't ask me. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I just got this issue because it's a big deal. It's where like people like Storm and like Wolverine are first introduced.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'm very excited. I haven't read it yet, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Samantha, do you want to give the spoiler noise? Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. Sorry. It's very long.
I know. It had to be.
It had to be. I'm sorry. It's a natural state.
It is.
I'd like to talk about a few of these books, including the ones, basically that we ended on.
So
we're going to talk about some of these books as a whole. The specifics definitely. So specifically, if you haven't gotten a chance to read Assassination, Ghost Tree, or Little Bird, those are going to be the main things that we're going to be talking about the whole series. Just in general, like our general thoughts. Let's start with Assassination. This series, I think we were interested in because this guy wrote Rock Candy Mountain beforehand. Kyle Starks. Teaming up with artist Erica Henderson, showed a great cartoonish sort of style, but also had a lot of, drama within it as well. I think the series was most special because of the way it choreographed and, illustrated action scenes.
Yeah.
And I think it balanced that with humor in a great way. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was anything like I'm not, rethinking life because of this book.
No.
But it was so goddamn fun and funny that I'm just so happy to have had it. I don't know. What was your experience of this? Do you think it lacked depth? Do you think that hurt it?
I don't know. Comparing it to Rock Candy Mountain, I like Rock Candy Mountain better.
Okay.
But with this one, I think that was it. It was just a lot of fun, and the choreographed action scenes were just done really well, and the characters' names were hilarious.
Oh yeah. Fuck Tarkington.
Tarrington, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the relationship between the characters, and then what you find out at the end, that it was all a setup. It was just one big joke, and it was just fun to read. And
I think the setup got kind of obvious at some point.
It was pretty obvious near the beginning, I think.
But I don't think it really matters.
It didn't really. It was just a fun ride to go on that it's not so special. It's fun. You enjoy yourself doing it.
Well, I just went to an amusement park yesterday. I knew how the end of the rides, most of them were going to be, but it was so much fun to be on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's one of those things. I'm definitely going to look out for more from this artist, for more from this maybe not artist. I think the art did really, really well with it, but I think it specifically was tied with this writing.
With Starks, yeah.
I hope they team up again.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about it? I don't have that much to say.
What I was going to say is, read Rock Candy Mountain.
Oh, yeah. You can, please.
It's really great. Kyle Starks is just a really fun writer.
Yeah.
And, you'll just have a great time reading it.
It's a great story. And one that is a lot longer than this one, too. Yeah. I think it's 8 issues, actually.
It was 2 trades.
Never mind. I think it's only 8 issues. That's only 3 more than this, I guess.
But it felt longer, I think.
Yeah.
It just felt a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we can move on from that. I know it wasn't that much, but, just read the series. Yeah. And then you'll get everything. Everything in the world. So next I want to talk about Ghost Tree. 4-part series from IDW, Bobby Curnow and Simon Gain.
Yeah.
Writer and artist, respectively. Tell me about your experience.
I want to hear yours first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that this series was really, really special. I think it, was about something that I'm not used to reading a comic about. Just so everyone knows, this story was about a guy who's kind of, getting a little older. He's married. He doesn't feel as special in his relationship or in his life anymore. So he goes back to his homeland, to a tree where his grandfather told him to go after his grandfather's death. So he goes there, and he gets sort of caught in the moment, speaking to the spirits of his, dead grandfather, and also people that have lived years before. And he gets lost in it, and it's not good. He's sort of putting his regular life on hold. And that's sort of where this is. It's about him sort of coming to terms with his own life, where it's at, and coming to terms with, leaving things in his past. I think just growing in general as a character and trying to work through things as opposed to distracting yourself from things.
Yeah. I
think that it was, throughout this ending, I really, really liked it. There was a demon that they had to, quote unquote defeat, but he ended up being another soul that was just tortured by not being paid attention to, not being spoken to. So I think that was a really cool thing. He closes the door on this old girlfriend that he meets up with again, and, accepts that...
the old girlfriend is dead.
And the old girlfriend is dead. She's a ghost.
Yeah.
But after that, he says, I need to work on my marriage. I need to, have a happy life with my wife. So he goes back, and his wife is like, dude, I don't just wait here for you. I have to get through my experience too. And you just left for like a week or weeks. I don't even know how long he was gone. He was gone for a long time.
I think it was like 2 weeks that he was gone.
So he just left his wife. She says, I love this line. She says, you left right when we needed to fix it.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And that was it. I can't wait here for you. So he basically grew this entire time just to get shot down by his wife.
He did, but I think he realized a lot about himself.
Did he?
Yeah.
He was confused at the end.
No. Okay, so my experience of this, I cried. Actually.
Oh, wow.
I cried at the scene where his grandfather is talking to him and says, I want you to relay some information to my wife, his grandmother. And so he's telling her, like, the reason that he was never around and kept just going into the forest and being by himself and not with her is because, like, she, I guess in his eyes, she thought she married this amazing, talented, funny, kind guy, and he just didn't feel like he could live up to that and felt like he was ashamed to have her look at him because that's not who he was. So
who he felt like he was.
Right. So he went away and he's like, I just couldn't take seeing your eyes and your face, seeing who I really was. That would hurt too much. So I don't know, I cried in that part. I thought it was beautiful, and that he was like, I don't know, what did the grandma say? Yeah, she said he was a stupid man. I loved him the day I saw him, and I've never stopped. I never will. And it was just beautiful. And then, I don't know, I just feel like he internalized what the grandfather said is like what he was doing. He was literally running away because he didn't want his wife to see like what kind of person he was, because it sounds like he felt like he was just this shitty guy who couldn't do anything right. Yeah, I don't know. So yes, he did get shot down at the end. He did all this character building, but I think he learned a lot about himself. Yeah. So it was more about that.
I think a lot of it is that at the end of the day, the grandson and the grandfather were pretty selfish.
They
in
were,
general.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the lesson here. Like, even though this guy has this epiphany that, okay, I need to put work in, I need to do anything I can, it doesn't fix everything. No. Like, you growing doesn't just magically fix everything. Everyone else has free will to decide what they want to do. And yeah, the fact of the matter is, he left her to figure out his shit without saying anything. Like, not, he comes back and she has a bag packed. Like, what are you supposed to do? You were past it. So yeah, I think I'm glad that it didn't have the happy ending, I guess, because I think it really is a better ending this way. I think he learns more as a character. Yeah. Even if we don't see that learning really in the page.
Well, I think you see it being contemplated when he sits down at the end and just starts smoking a cigarette. I think he's like, because he's not like crying or falling to the floor devastated. He just looks like he's really thinking. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I loved this. I thought it was beautiful. So well done. Yeah. I want to see more from this artist and this writer. Like, especially this writer. Like, it's just fantastic.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm really, really excited. It was good all the way throughout. A nice, short, like, self-contained story that just speaks volumes. You don't need any more in this. No. So, yeah. We'll keep an eye out for Bobby Curnow and Simon Gain. Okay. Another series that is ending this week. Not really, though. Something we've talked about at length is Little Bird. Little Bird. Little Bird. Okay.
Little Bird.
This is a great... I love this series so much.
It's so cool.
This is the 5th part.
I just want it to be made into a movie and a show and a video game and everything.
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 It's been great throughout. So basically this book is about the tyrannical Catholic state that is occupying the United States these days is inching itself towards Canada, and Canada is trying to defend itself. And our main character is Little Bird, who when she dies comes back to life, and her dad is, the evil dude from the the Catholic states, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the general idea.
Well, and her mom had 2 children.
Yes,
and her brother was taken.
Well, no, he was left behind.
Right.
Remember, the bishop dude, this evil dude, is her dad, and they were running from him.
Right.
After he theoretically took advantage of her and impregnated her?
Yes, so the brother grew up with this father.
Yes.
And then she grew up with the mom.
There's a lot to this series.
There's a lot.
It's been 5, 40-page issues. No ads anywhere. It's so great. But this was the end. We had basically a happy ending. A fuck ton of people died.
I wouldn't say happy. I would say kind of satisfying.
It's satisfying, absolutely. I think this got brought to a really, really fantastic place, in terms of storytelling. I love how they show... I just have a really, really simple love for how they show Little Bird running around, where it's just like she's hovering above the ground. Yeah. And she's just, sliding back and forth. Or they just
show, they don't even show her face, they just show her hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much in this that is shown beautifully and simply. It's not... I feel like Ian Bertram's art style a lot of times, I feel like there's always a possibility that there's going to be too much going on, but it's so organized and in the right place that I feel like my eyes aren't tired from looking at the amazing amount of detail that's in here. Mm-hmm. It just makes every single illustration feel vast and not overly complex. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. This book has just been amazing all around. Great action scenes, great art, great writing, and I'm excited.
Great character development.
Great characters in general, yeah.
What do you really get to know each character pretty well.
Yeah.
And their intentions and all that.
Would you say that this series would be good if it stayed like this, or do you think that future installments should comment directly on what happened here?
What do you mean?
Ian Bertram and Darcy Van Polgeest have new stories coming out. Right. One that they preview in the back of this issue. Do you think that those stories that are apparently going to be set in the same universe should be directly related to this, or do you think that they should leave this story as it is?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be better if they left it as is, but just talked about stuff within that universe, that world, of what's going on in there. But I don't know. Because at the end, you see Little Bird, I'm guessing, is her, just a little older. And she's kind of saying something that alludes to the fact of, something's coming, something's happening, right?
Yes.
So, I feel like they might continue that story.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with.
Maybe she'll just be a character that's set up now.
Yeah. She might just be
That might be actually just it. I don't know. This might have just been her history.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really, really excited to see what comes by. I think the ending is fine. It just, after how good this series was, I think I was a little underwhelmed by the last sequence being, read more of the books we're putting out.
Yeah, wait, what part are you talking about?
This part, where she's just sitting here. There's an old Little Bird, sitting with the fire going off, and she says, "It doesn't end here, not like this." And I know that it's just for the reader, for them to make sure the reader knows that they're going to be doing new stuff in here.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that the entire series, not the entire series, but that this series ends just with an ad.
I don't know. I don't feel like I didn't feel that way.
It's not a huge thing. It's not a huge thing at all. I just.
But I can see what you mean. I can see, because of how good it is. It's like you don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that. Like I know, like other people, they're not. This doesn't have so much talk about it, which I don't know why it doesn't. But it's just like do that. Like do that in the marketing. Right. I don't want your book to be tainted by it.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever. It's not a big deal. This book is fantastic and amazing, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it irks me. I like that word. So Samantha, let's give a little bit of talk on this last book we want to talk about, which I think is one of my favorite series. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man Life Story. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man Life Story has been a series that follows Peter Parker growing in real time in the Marvel Universe, and all the way from the 60s in his debut to now we've gotten to issue 5, which is the 2000s. Mm-hmm. Samantha, neither of us have had a lot of experience with the history of Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, a lot of the stories that are happening in each decade in this are stories that are big deals in Spider-Man's history. They've gone over the Clone Saga, the, Venom stuff, Kraven's Last Hunt, which is a big deal, apparently. And, I don't know, I don't feel like my enjoyment has been diminished because of not knowing these things.
No, I don't feel that way either.
But I do feel like it would be enhanced if I knew them.
Yeah.
Like, apparently they're doing stuff here where they're changing the circumstances of these classic stories, where, to the point where it's like, someone who knows about them can be like, oh shit, they're doing that. Oh, that's not how it goes! Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Like, part of me is really excited to reread this series.
Yeah.
But for the time being, I don't know. Doug, when we were talking about some of the earlier issues, was having a little trouble with the series being a lot of cynical doom and gloom.
Again, I think that a lot of people are scared to write about that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that within, like, stories about superheroes, that's... I don't know, you have to show that part. Mm-hmm. Because they have a lot of shit that happens to them, and they just have to pick themselves up and be heroes. And so I think it's really good to write about the doom and gloom because they rise above it. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's doom and gloom and they're like, well, I guess I'll just sit home and watch TV then because I'm not good enough. Like, it's never that. It's just they go through the shit and then they pick themselves up and get back to it. So
yeah. Now I just want to say the reason why sometimes people are wary, or specifically Doug probably, but I've heard other people say this, are wary of like a lot of cynical doom and gloom nature. Is because in like the late 80s and 90s in comics, it was very, very dark all the time, no matter what. And it was, I think, tiring to a lot of people. Apparently there was a really heavy focus on the art back in the day, in that decade. Yeah. But the writing kind of fell by the wayside. Okay. Because people focused on, killing everybody, making everybody look badass and be badass and stuff like that. So I haven't had that experience as much either, so I see it as just fine. I don't really have like a trigger with it. Yeah. But I don't know, I think it makes sense that like you could, be scared that a comic is doing too much if you had the experience of reading it too much in a specific time period. What do you think?
Yes, but at the same time with this, we're not reading something like he's having something bad happen to him. A week later, something else, another bad thing happens. This is like the next decade, which is like, it happens in people's lives. Tragedies happen, and I think it's a normal trajectory of like life where, you may have this horrible thing happen to you, and sadly, 10 years from now, if you have someone like old in your family, they might pass, or so I don't think it's too much doom and gloom when you think about it as like, this is happening in decade form. It's not like, this just happened to them. And,
I would agree with you completely. I always assume like, okay, we're 10 years later, what has he been doing? And this one, I think they wrote really, really well because at this point, in the last issue, in like almost 50-year-old Peter Parker goes to move back in with his wife and twin children. Mm-hmm. And that was like a really hopeful ending, like hopefully him starting his sort of redemption arc. So we come here where he's living with them still. So we know they probably had a pretty nice life.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And I thought one of the coolest things about this is that they had him... They mentioned that he went out to New York when 9/11 happened in 2001, which he would have been like something like mid-50s or something like that, which I just think that was a really cool thing to reference specifically in this book, because like, how are you going to have a book about the 2000s and not talk about that?
Right.
I just really like the idea of him like coming back for that, and then coming back for this story where I guess the Moreland saga is a big deal, where he tries to like continuously kill Peter Parker. I thought it was a really clever way to, you know, get the clone in Spider-Man Life Story like kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
And for there to be a realization that, you know, you're not out of the woods yet, Peter. You have to come back. You have to do all this stuff. And, you know, he also has to come back and deal with the storyline that's happening with the other heroes in this universe.
Right.
Which, I don't know if you realized, it was basically the Civil War storyline.
Yes.
Captain America versus Iron Man.
Right.
And Spider-Man is a huge part of that in the original story. So he, again, is a huge part of it. So, I don't know. I think one of the coolest things about the series is him taking the context of other really famous stories and recontextualizing them around this aging universe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's brilliantly done.
Chip Zdarsky, man. He's been just killing it all over the place.
Is he the one who had like 3 series come out this week?
He had, yes. We read Spider-Man Life Story from him. We read Daredevil, and we read The Invaders. Yeah, it's a lot. Keep doing your doing. And that should be my new saying. Keep doing your doing.
Keep doing your doing?
Yeah, I like that. It's really good. Spider-Man Life Story is fantastic, and Peter Parker's kids are badass, apparently.
Yeah, they are.
They killed the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
Is he a vampire? Did they ever say?
I think he was, yeah.
He looks like a vampire.
But he was only vulnerable when he was like about to attack. Which is very like in a video game, you know, where like when a character's about to hit or about like they turn their back or something like that. So I really like that aspect of the action there. It was like a strategy in how to kill the bad guy.
Yeah. We'll have to read the Moreland saga at some point.
Yeah.
It'll be great. Okay, well, do you have anything else to say? Did you read any of the other books that we have? Do you want to say any quick words about it?
I read Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was an interesting one.
Yeah?
Because there wasn't really any action.
There hasn't been.
Yeah.
For the last 2 or something issues.
Yeah. But it was a really, like, I don't know, I really liked the vibe of it, where he just goes into this home, is like, okay, I'm going to have this dinner with this new family, and this woman is really nice to me, and then he's like, holy shit.
It's a crime family.
Like a huge crime family, and like, yeah. So, and then they figure out like who he is, and it's just, you can just feel the tension through it.
It's such a well done scene, and you can feel the tension in all of their words. Like you're hanging. You're
literally like holding your breath for him. Like, are they gonna murder you? What are they gonna do to you?
Seriously. Yeah. It was really, really. I think that Chip Zdarsky is doing a great job at writing a Daredevil story with zero Daredevil. It's all Matt Murdock.
Right.
It's just him going around and being blind.
Right.
No, it's for real. I love that book. I think he's doing such a good job on it. I also wanted to talk about Immortal Hulk. Continues to be fantastic. This week's... I'm not going to spoil anything. You haven't read it yet. This week's cover is beautiful, again, from Alex Ross. And I will say, we get a lot of really cool history on General 14. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's the guy,
the
African-American man who is like gunning for the Hulk this entire time. Like, he's like, this motherfucker needs to die.
Right.
So we get a lot of his history, which I think is really great because we haven't learned all that much about him. You know, like, we know his motivations.
Yeah.
But not, like, to a deep knowledge.
Right. Okay.
So I'm very excited for that. Samantha.
Yeah?
We have books next week as well.
Ooh.
Would you mind telling the folks at home what our books next week are?
I don't know why you say folks with an L. Folks.
Folks at home. There's an L.
Sounds like an egg yolk.
Yolk. Do you say yolk?
I say yolk, but it just sounds, you know.
I don't want to know what that sounds like. That didn't come across very well.
Okay. All right. Anyway, next week we have Ascender number 4, Detective Comics 1008, Farmhand number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, House of X number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Invisible Kingdom number 5, Justice League Dark number 13, Martian Manhunter number 7, and Marvel's Epilogue number 1?
Okay.
What's that?
So we also had
Skyward number 15. So what is Marvel's Epilogue number 1?
So Marvel's was a book.
Oh yeah, I haven't read that yet. That's
you
on
haven't,
my list.
so you're not going to read this. But it's a book by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross, drawn entirely by Alex Ross, painted. It's a fantastic book that goes through Marvel history through the eyes of a photographer.
Oh, cool.
That has been, shooting, like taking photographs of all the, different heroes, all the different cool moments. It's really, really cool. I'll read it soon. They're releasing this new story, part of the story, the Marvel's Epilogue, next week. Like, written by the same guy, drawn by Alex Ross. It is...
and it's going to be how many issues? Just this one? Or?
One issue.
Oh, okay.
Just the one epilogue.
Okay.
I'm beyond excited. Also, want to mention at Farmhand, this is the last issue of this arc. So it's probably going to be gone for 3 months.
I feel like we just took a huge break
from
Farmhand.
It felt really, really short this time around. But
it did.
It's great, though.
It is great, but I just feel like we just had to wait super long time.
Oh, I know. I agree. Okay, so Samantha, we have a little bit of time here at the end, and I wanted to ask you, you're a new reader, so I think it's interesting to talk about sort of what a new reader values in, like, reading a comic book, and your experience of a comic book.
Well...
Like, what do you like? What do you not like? And I'm talking in terms of technique or style.
I mean, for me, if I don't like the art, if I open up the issue or book and I don't like the art, I'm not going to read it.
Really?
So, I think that's a big thing, and some people may get really mad and be like, well, you're missing out on some great stories. It's like, I get it, but for me personally... reading comics has helped with my reading because I have ADD, and so it's very easy for me to read them because I don't start thinking about other things. I'm very engaged in it, and that a lot of times that has to do with the art. So I just feel like if I don't like the art, I'm not going to want to just stare at the page, and like, so that's my point on that.
Like, would you say that I don't know, you don't like reading novels as much?
I don't. I loved reading novels as a kid, and school ruined it. Okay. Yeah.
Like, do you feel like there's something about, like, you feel like you're more reading a novel if you don't like the art as much? Or do you just feel kind of, like, unsatisfied, maybe?
Pretty unsatisfied.
Okay.
I don't feel like it's reading a novel. There's still pictures, but I just... Yeah.
And what would you say, like, do you think there's something in art that you don't appreciate? Like, have you read... What have you disliked the art the most in of what you've read?
I'm trying to think about that, but, I don't really know unless it's right in front of me and I see it.
Yeah.
I can think about it and try and...
Think about it for next week.
Yeah.
Think about like, the least favorite stuff that you've had.
Yeah.
And maybe you can think about, like, what you like the most in art. Like, what have you enjoyed seeing the most? Let's say, like, just pencil and ink stuff, not painted stuff.
Okay.
Because I know you're a sucker for painted stuff just like I am. But let's talk about pencils and inks. Because I think there's a style in there that, this person's pencils can look so different from this other person's.
Right.
And I think that's more of an interesting avenue to say, like, whose styles do you like more? Whose do you like worse?
I mean, one artist that I'm new to and loving is the artist of Black Science, which is, what's his name?
Matteo Scalera.
Matteo Scalera is definitely one of my favorite artists.
What would you say is good about him?
Just his art feels very satisfying.
Yeah.
I don't know, the colors, the creativity of it. Yeah.
I think with him, for me, like, there is this really cool fluidity with everything in his drawing that makes it just come alive. Like, I think it looks sometimes very it can look very simplistic in the faces and stuff like that. He doesn't have a hyper detail and like, emotional, like, faces or anything like that. I think he shows emotions through eyes, like mouth, and stuff like that. But there aren't like really like small little hairs or muscles or details in there. So it's not overly detailed, but it's like this. Like, I feel like he is efficient with his pencils. I feel like he draws everything that needs to be drawn to make it feel so epic or to make it feel like a smaller scene, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like that's my favorite thing about him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else that comes to mind in terms of like a penciled artist that you really, really enjoy?
Again, it's hard to think off the top of my head, you know? Like, if I'll look through what I've read and I'll make a note of it. Okay. For sure.
You'll report back.
Yeah, I'll report back.
It's your homework.
All right.
Okay. Well.
Thanks.
Sorry.
More homework.
Well, at that point, I think that's going to about do it for this week. Very exciting. Is it exciting that we're ending? I guess. I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
We have to get on with our lives.
Yeah, we have lives, people.
We do. If you made it this far, though, thank you so much for listening. We're very, very, very grateful that you are here listening to us talk into the void, which I call my microphone. Okay. But please, if you're here, can you give us a review or star rating on iTunes? It'd be really, really helpful. Be awesome. You know, it'd be cool if you did that.
It'd be nice, I guess. Yeah.
But if you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us with your mouth or with your mouse. We release episodes weekly on Sunday, usually. So be sure to check back next week, or you can subscribe on many podcast apps like iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play Music.
That's Google Play Music.
I know. I try to do it like with a rhythm.
Oh.
You know? Get a rhythm. If you... Okay, sorry. Samantha gave me a really weird look.
Yeah, it was not fun to witness. That really wasn't.
Okay, sorry. Well, they don't have to be here for it at least.
Yeah, you're lucky.
But you don't have to think about it if you subscribe on any of those podcast apps, so that's pretty cool. But whichever one you prefer, we've got you
covered.
That's your new job. It is.
It's my one and only job.
No, you have other jobs. You have to speak with me. I'm not like gonna do a whole one-man show.
But that's my most important job.
It's up there.
Okay.
But you can also find web archives of all our previous episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com, and on our YouTube channel. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the handle @ComicsCovered. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message on social media or email to comicscovered@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening.
I'm Samantha.
Oh, that's good. I was just going to be silent.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't. I was actually going to speak.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
So you're Samantha.
I'm Samantha.
That's amazing. I'm actually Samantha as well.
Oh, hi.
It's really cool. Hey.
Hey, girl.
This has been Comics Covered. Thank you very much.